Hey, what is up, you guys? This is Nate the Effing Great with another movie talk. This is actually one's going to be a double feature, actually. For this one, I'm actually going to be talking about two classic movies. I'm going to be talking about The King and I that I watched earlier on this year, as well as Annie that I got the chance to watch today. Honestly, both of these movies kind of stand out, and they also hold up very well. It's kind of one of those simple things where basically, they have the simple effects, they have the simple cinematography. It still works. It really still works. It's absolutely amazing how well they do. But let's start with just, the story, basically. So, King and I basically talks the story about, Anna meeting the King of Siam, where, she comes in, she's basically supposed to be a teacher, but she also ends up teaching the King of Siam some European uh, culture, also kind of introducing him into some ideas that women can be treated as equally as men. Uh, we see them kind of having like this kind of forbidden romance because he's a king, he's married to so many women, he's got so many wives anyway. She's got this kind of different status quo where she wants to still be strong and independent, but she still kind of falls for him in a way. Uh, the climax is really good, where it does kind of have him clashing and questioning what is right and what is wrong. And in the end, we actually see the king dying because of a broken heart, essentially. It's a really interesting story. Obviously, it's one of those stories that gets over exaggerated. The original story is nothing like what the movie does. So a lot of people will probably say, "Well, that's the reason why it sucks." No, it's just it's a movie. It's loosely based on real events that basically happened, but it's still a very well done movie, and it does hold up very well. In the case of Annie, it's a story about an orphan girl who gets adopted by a billionaire, and eventually she's able to turn his heart from being, all about business and all about the money and all about stocks and blah, 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 blah. And he kind of, gets a softer side of him. He learns to appreciate life, he learns to appreciate the people that he's surrounded by, and all it takes was an orphan. And we see, you know, uh, a situation where she thought that she was going to find her parents, but then it was a huge lie. And great chase scene, great stunt work as well, cinematography for the final sequences there, and ends up with Annie realizing that she has her true family, um, in the form of this billionaire as well as billionaire's assistant, which I believe they actually get married in the end, if I'm not mistaken. There's a big sequence at the end where it kind of does show that that's what probably happened, but I can't exactly say that that's definitely what happened. Positives for these movies. We'll start with The King and I. Visually, this is beautiful, in all honesty. It's a musical. It's got all the bright colors. You see the costuming, the makeup, the characters. There's so much going into this. It's really well done. I will say this, that if I had to nitpick one thing, was that the fact that I think that maybe they gave not enough time to Lunta and Top Tim, because they have like this forbidden romance going on there. But at the same time, I kind of agree with what they did, because it should not be a split deal where it's like, we'll focus on the king and I, and we'll focus on, this forbidden romance here. No, 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 no. They focus on what it should be about. It should be about the king and Anna. And that's also kind of one of the things that I like about the movie more than the performance, because in the performance, they actually try to build up a relationship between uh, Anna's son and uh, the king's eldest son, if I'm not mistaken. In the musical, they have a scene where they're basically talking about, we have difference of opinions, but obviously, one is not right, one is not wrong. It's kind of one of those situations. I'm glad they kind of cut that out. Some of the songs are different from musical performances. That's okay. But yeah, like I said, the visually is great. The actors are awesome. The Characters are absolutely fantastic. Oh my gosh, the scene of Small House of Uncle Thomas is just beautiful. I absolutely loved this recreation that they did. It was a play within a play. I loved it. I always loved that kind of deal. And visually, it's beautiful, like I said. Um, the guy who plays the king. Oh gosh, I'm trying to remember his name. I should have it off the top of my head, but he also plays Ramesses in the Ten Commandments, and what he still has that same presence as like Ramesses in Ten Commandments, where he holds himself strong. He's got that like that look in his eye where he is just absolutely intimidating. You can have some moments where you could tell he's being soft, but he can definitely show that I can be a tough and intimidating person. One of the best examples of that is when they're doing the procession of the children. Um, there's points where like the kid will want a hug or he'll start running. They'll accidentally have their back turned, even though they're supposed to basically have like their eyes focusing on the king. And he has that look of just did you really do that? Did you really do that? But like in the most menacing way possible, and it's awesome. It is absolutely awesome. Um, yeah, like I said, it's just a very well done. The songs are just absolutely tremendous. Getting to know you, a puzzlement. Uh, gosh, I'm trying to remember what the other song was. I think it's like the Lunta and the Top Tim one, if I'm not mistaken. I definitely could tell that they cut a few songs out, but at the same time, like I said, it focuses more on Anna and the king. That's what I love about this movie, and that's what makes it absolutely wonderful. That's what makes it absolutely great, is that they do that. When we go into Annie, it's a different story. It definitely is one of those movies that you definitely feel it's older. It definitely has some kind of a budget to it. Um, but honestly, I enjoyed it. I enjoy the songs. I love the characters of Annie. I love the billionaire. Grace, who was the assistant to the billionaire, he's great. It's just one of those musicals that I've never got the chance to see. And when I saw it, it was awesome. It was definitely better than I was expecting. There was a lot of moments where I'm just kind of chuckling to myself because it's funny seeing how Annie kind of holds herself up because she's kind of that strong, independent woman that is going to make a difference in the world. And she makes a difference in this movie to where I think the first time that the billionaire and Annie meet, Annie kind of just makes it seem like, I had the time of my life. I don't need to stay here. It'd be cool if you did let me stay here, but I'm not going to complain about it. You've given me so much more. And the millionaire is kind of like, okay, yeah, she could stay. Because originally the guy, the billionaire wanted a boy orphan instead of a girl. But it's kind of one of those things where Annie has this self-confidence about her that he admires and he respects. And he's just kind of like, okay, I'm gonna play to this. This is kind of cool. I liked the scene where, again, another prime example of that is that, she is suggested, hey, let's go to the movies. And she was kind of excited about it. She talks about how her friend went to see it, how Mrs. Hannigan, the person who run the orphanage, the girl orphanage that she was being held at, she was kind of like, and the billionaire's like, no, I'm busy. I don't need to do that. And she kind of was just like, I thought it'd be something cool. And so one of those moments where she basically talks about you should really appreciate life. And he's just kind of like, okay, let's all go to the movies. And we have a very touching moment where, he's carrying her in, they're changing her into her nightgown because she fell asleep in the movies. It's one of those things where you slowly start seeing that he's going to just go from this hard ass to a very kind of, soft and understanding character. So that's really cool. One thing I love, oh my gosh, the fact that my boy Tim Curry is in Annie, that got me. That was one of those things where like, yes, really good. I hated the fact that I didn't see more of him, but at the same time, I was cool with it. I understand. It has to be about Annie. It has to be about the main character. I get that. But anytime that Tim Curry was involved in this movie, it was great. Great singing voice. I love the fact that he could play just a dastardly villain. The scene where he's climbing up, he's trying to take Annie back. But unfortunately, Annie gets rescued, and Tim Curry, he actually goes right down the bridge because they're climbing up this bridge that was for the train. So the tracks are acting like a ladder, so he's going right down this. I'm literally thinking to myself, oh no, Tim Curry's dead. He gets caught by the trampoline, uh, by the police, and it's also really amazing because there's before the final climax, we see Tim Curry's character actually uh, punch his sister. It was kind of one of those things like, whoa, I was not expecting that. I forgot that in these earlier terms of movies that they got away with so much more, and it was one of those things where again, Tim Curry punching a woman, not expecting that. I know it's not real. Give me a break. But yeah, it was just a really enjoyable movie. Like I said, it was a musical and it was done right. So, star ratings for both of these. I'm giving The King and I 5 stars out of 5. I'm giving Annie 5 stars out of 5. They're both just really enjoyable. The music is great. The story is easy to follow. The characters are very fun. Even some of the side characters are absolutely fantastic. It's just two great movies that have stood the test of time and that just continue to really be the bar setters when it comes to a lot of musicals in theater, in movies. It doesn't matter. They both just stand the test of time and they just are do excellent in this. So that's it for this review, you guys. Thank you so much. Talk to you later. Bye bye.